Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of The Training Room. In this episode, we will talk about creating space in Counter-Strike, what it means, and how you can create space and use space that has been created for you. Counter-Strike is a tactical shooter that has many little windows of opportunities. In 1 second, a certain play could be very good, but a second too early or too late, and that play is suddenly not good. Decision making comes down to the split second, especially the higher the rank you are. The quicker your opponent is able to think and adapt, you need to be making those decisions and acting out the decisions even faster. Creating space is a way that you can create a window of opportunity for your teammate. It can be done in the form of being a distraction, getting a kill, using your utility to make it seem like an execute on a bomb site or a fake, or it can be you sacrificing your life so that your teammates can get trade kills. All of these are ways to create space, but what about if your teammates are creating for space for you? How can you know when or where to go if they create space? In this video, I'll try to break down some examples so that you'll be able to identify on your own when space is created and how you can make your next actions off of it. I will break down creating space into 3 easily digestible common scenarios: entry fragging, bomb site fakes, and lurking. Entry fragging, creating the space. Entry fragging isn't necessarily about getting kills when running into an area. Crucial components of entry fragging are comms, pathing, spacing, and timing. As an entry fragger, you should be considering all of these elements. As you enter the bomb site, your path and movement should make it so that your opponent will need to take more time to kill you, but also the crosshair should be far away from your teammates so that getting multi-kills will be difficult for them. If you and your teammates following you are all taking in the same route, then adjusting from one target to the next will be easier for the defending counter-terrorist. Getting the call out on where the counter-terrorists are as fast as you can is also vital so that you can set your teammates up to cover you or get a trade kill if you die without a kill. The timing should be that you catch your opponents at the most opportune moment. This means that you're catching the defending CTs with grenades out, as they're blind, or as they're repositioning from one area to another because a smoke is blocking their vision or because a Molotov is flushing them out of position. Using the created space. As you come into an area where you have 1 or 2 teammates going in first, make sure to give them space so that they can assess an area. Generally, you shouldn't be overtaking the first guy unless they're failing their task. Instead, look to cover your teammates from angles that they're not watching. If we use Inferno B bomb site as an example, covering the coffin peak or CT spawn push are great ways to cover your teammates while they clear out the bomb site and get the enemy position call out over to you so that you can take a more successful duel. The 3 likely scenarios are: your teammate dies but calls out where the enemy was and you can get the trade kill, your teammate clears the bomb site and the enemies were not present in the site, or your teammates kill the enemy in the bomb site and you've covered them from reinforcements. Using the space that they've created, you have now bettered your chances of securing the round win. Creating space off of a bomb site fake. To reiterate a point I made earlier, creating space doesn't necessarily involve throwing your life away. Bomb site fakes are a great way to create space if you know what you're doing. There are many types of executes a team can do that fit a variety of styles, of game philosophies, but one thing that is constant is the way that you condition your opponents. A team is more likely to bite on a fake if you've done a full execute that looks very similar to a fake. You don't even need to do all the same smokes and flashes that you would do on a full execute. The trick is in the smaller nuances. Sound cues, time left in the round, map control, those are all tools that you can use to sell a fake. Make sure that your teammates are very silent in other parts of the map, or even have them make it sound like they're falling away from their position and regrouping for a real execute. The lower amount of time left on the clock, the more inclined your opponent will believe that you're about to unleash your real attack. Using the created space. Understanding how and where the CTs will rotate, you can find little holes in their defenses and timing windows in which you can move freely from one area to another. Using Inferno as an example, visualize the CTs on a map when suddenly there are smokes and flashes going to the B bomb site. As an Arch player, you need to make the decision to rotate to B or hold your ground. If you hold your ground and the enemy takes B, it might be your fault that you didn't rotate to provide assistance. You decide that the attack is towards B and you start running towards their bomb site. 5 to 10 seconds later, your teammates say, "Wait, there's nothing here, was it just a fake?" And you realize now that you're 5 to 10 seconds of running away from your position. That is 10 to 20 seconds that the T's could have made it up arch side and either got in a position to flank you, wrapped your teammates in the bomb site, or any other annoying play that a T can do, such as lurking one guy into CT spawn to do an early flank and then re-execute B. Visualizing everything from the CT's point of view will allow you to know how to use that created space. Perhaps the most obvious type of creating space is lurking. As a lurker, your job is to stress your opponent's holds by taking duels, baiting out utility, and being an overall nuisance. Just by showing yourself in an area, you condition your opponents to think that you might pop back out at any moment. When you go for an aggressive peek and stay alive as a lurker, you oftentimes draw the attention of not only one, but sometimes two enemies. If a CT defender is trying to hold one choke point, they need to position themselves as such that you cannot see them. This limits the amount of angles that they can realistically hold from and makes them yield to your pressure. Staying alive as the lurker is very important, and in a lot of cases is even more important than getting a kill. If the enemy is afraid to rotate off of their positions, and if they decide to dedicate two defenders to hold you for your next peak, your teammates should be able to outnumber the rest of the defenders elsewhere on the map. Using the space. Knowing when to pounce as a lurker versus when to stand your ground and hold comes from experience. This type of experience is also referred to as game sense. The more you play as a lurker, the deeper your understanding of CT rotations will be. Knowing that your team is making a lot of sound cues, getting spotted, or using a lot of utility at one part of the map might prompt an enemy to push an area to take map control or to get info, or perhaps even initiate an early flank. Understanding that defending CTs and how they will react off of your teammates' pressure at another part of the map will dictate how you will approach using that created space. You can hold for a CT to rotate out of position and kill them as they're out of position in an open space. You can hold for a CT to rotate and push into you, or you can find an opening in the defense by listening to a CT rotate off a position and inserting yourself into a powerful position. Having your teammates do a bomb site fake is a great way to be impactful as a lurker. Creating space is also very important to do as a CT. Use the information relayed by your teammates to make decisions on your rotations and position. If your teammates at A on overpass are calling that there are 3 or 4 enemies spotted, there is likely 1 or 2 enemies at maximum that could be towards B. If you push into short B either by yourself, with a teammate, or with a teammate's flash, you can clear out the position and be in a more forward position to deal with your opponents should they try to come back towards B. This in part funnels your opponents towards your teammates at A, which you can now afford to stack with more players. I hope you guys learned a lot in this episode. To see other Training Room episodes like this one, please check the description below.